3 rifles, and 1 handgun were seized by St. James Police. 3 rifles, 1 handgun, and an assortment of ammunition were seized by the St. James Police today during a joint police/military operation. Acting Commanding Officer for St. James, Superintendent of Police, SP Euron Samuels noted that the initiative was geared towards finding wanted persons. "We were targeting one of our wanted persons and today we were able to disarm his gang of 4 weapons," said SP Samuels. SP Samuels reassured the residents that the police will continue to disarm gunmen and gangs to keep their communities safe. "Our main intention is to have the residents of Montego Bay, St. James feel safe, to let them know that the police are working to ensure that we protect them so that they can enjoy going about their lives without having to worry about these criminals," SP Samuels added. No arrest was made in relation to the seizure, however. The police are encouraging persons to share information about guns, gangs, and wanted men by calling their local police or Crime Stop at 311. A man identified only as Oral was shot and killed on Old Golden Spring Road in St. Andrew on Thursday night. Residents report hearing explosions before the man was found suffering from gunshot wounds to his head and chest. Police are now processing the scene. American woman granted bail on the charge of plotting to murder husband in Bahamas. Nassau, Bahamas, CMC-A high court judge has granted $100,000 bail to an American woman accused of plotting to kill her husband. Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson approved the variation application for bail for Lindsay Shiver, 36, of Thomasville, Georgia, who along with 2 Bahamian nationals, was charged on June 28 with conspiracy to commit murder. A restraining order for the estranged couple was also issued by the court, which was also attended by the Chief of American Citizen Services at the U.S. Embassy, Lance Peterson. The prosecution alleges that the accused plotted to kill Mrs. Shiver's husband, Robert, in Abaco on July 16. But the plot was reportedly discovered after the authorities seized a phone while investigating another crime in Guanaa Key. Mr. Shiver reportedly filed for divorce from his wife after allegedly uncovering the alleged affair between her and one of her co-conspirators. Mrs. Shiver was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services after she was unable to post the cash bail of $100,000 last Tuesday. Her 2 co-accused, Terrence Bethel, 28, and Farron Newbold Jr., 29, posted their $20,000 cash bail and had their passports confiscated. They are also to be fitted with monitoring devices. As part of her bail conditions, the American woman must report to a police station 3 times a week, must follow a residential curfew of 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. local time, and was ordered to remain 100 feet away from her husband. She was also informed that her passport would remain in the custody of the U.S. Embassy and that she must also report to the court before making any travel arrangements. Human rights group demands details on Haitians seeking asylum in Jamaica. Concerned about their welfare, the human rights group Freedom Imaginaries is pressing the government for details on the Haitians who are seeking asylum in Jamaica. In a letter to Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Dr. Horace Chang, Minister of National Security, and Ambassador Allison Stone Roof, Permanent Secretary Ministry of National Security, the group requested an urgent meeting to discuss due process issues and request for access to information in respect of Haitians seeking asylum in Jamaica. Freedom Imaginaries is representing the immigrants. Among several concerns outlined, the group noted that we consider that the applicants are in a serious and urgent situation that poses a risk of refoulement, which is strictly prohibited under international law. Freedom Imaginaries, headed by attorneys Milena C. Allen, Hugh Small and Marcus Goff, said this is the second time they have made a written request for details on their clients but to no avail. See the full letter below. Freedom Imaginaries writes further to our letter dated August 4, 2023, on behalf of 37 Haitian nationals who requested asylum in Jamaica applicants. We write to reiterate our request for a meeting in light of recent developments in the asylum procedure and to request immediate access to information that we need to prepare the applicants' cases. On August 8, 2023, immigration officers completed the screening interview phase of the asylum procedure without remedying the concerns set out in our August 4 letter. We remain deeply concerned that arrangements were not made for child applicants to be interviewed, as this undermines their rights to be heard and to have their best interests taken into account as a primary consideration in the decision-making process. Moreover, despite our requests, immigration officers concluded the interview process without establishing a trauma-sensitive, gender and differentiated approach that would have allowed applicants to tell their stories as completely as possible. Importantly, at this critical juncture in the process, the applicants and their legal representatives are still being excluded from access to basic information, including the applicants' written statements and application forms that were completed by immigration officers. We still do not have detailed information on the next procedural steps, timeframes, and modalities for participation and disclosure, even as we advance to a phase in which an adverse decision could be taken against the applicants. We have reviewed the Government of Jamaica's recent press release dated August 8, 2023, which appears to be a response to our August 4th letter. As a preliminary matter, the press release mistakenly states that the applicants' attorneys used their own interpreters during the initial screening process. That is incorrect. The government made the arrangements for interpretation. More fundamentally, the press release maintains that the applicants are being treated in line with Jamaica's Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms and the refugee policy. However, we maintain that the government's systematic exclusion of the applicants from the enjoyment of basic rights, including the right to due process and its guarantees, the right to legal representation, the right to be heard, the rights of the child to special protection measures, the right to access basic information on the asylum procedure, the right to non-discrimination, the right to an effective asylum procedure, and the right to appeal to a judicial body, is inconsistent with human rights principles and standards enshrined in the Charter, the UN Refugee Convention, and binding international human rights treaties. Furthermore, treatment of the applicants falls short of the limited requirements of Jamaica's refugee policy, which explicitly states that persons applying for refugee status shall be treated in a manner consistent with internationally recognized human rights standards. In this context, we consider that the applicants are in a serious and urgent situation that poses a risk of refoulement, which is strictly prohibited under international law. We, therefore, reiterate the requests outlined in our August 4th letter and urge you to pause the process until we can meet to establish minimum procedural guarantees that are necessary to ensure the principle of non-refoulement and to protect the constitutional and international law rights of the applicants in this process. In addition, given the urgency of the situation, we request immediate access to the following documents that the applicants need to effectively participate in the asylum procedure: the preliminary determination forms and refugee determination forms completed by immigration officers for each adult applicant, audio recordings of the screening interviews, all other written or recorded statements made by the applicants in the context of their arrest, detention, and conviction for illegal entry and subsequent application for asylum. Any other information that is relevant to the refugee status determination process and that will be presented to, or considered by, the Eligibility Committee, e.g., background information and investigative reports on the applicants. We kindly request that you respond by August 11, 2023 at 3:30 p.m. with a proposed meeting date and the information outlined above. Businesswoman claims coercion from cops led to false confession in double murder. The Portland businesswoman implicated in May's double gun murder in Portland, which included the alleged target, a pregnant woman, is now denying any involvement in the incident. Jody Ann Jackson, who, yesterday, was offered $4 million bail, had initially given a caution statement to the police in the presence of her lawyer in which she admitted to certain things, including her involvement. However, her new lawyer, Courtney Rowe, claimed that the mother of three was forced by the police to give the incriminating statement. The 28-year-old bar operator and nail technician of Anchovy Land Settlement in the parish is charged with the murders of 28-year-old Shade Pink of Campbell Avenue, Port Antonio, and 23-year-old Keno James King of Johnstown District, both in the parish, who were killed in the deadly shooting attack on May 23 along Campbell Avenue. Both victims were playing dominoes with others when they were attacked and shot. The woman is said to have been 8 to 9 months pregnant at the time of her death. Pink was reportedly pregnant with Jackson's baby father. Allegations are that Jackson not only rented the car but drove it to where the pregnant woman was and pointed her out to the shooter. But Rowe, who applied for bail in the Portland Parish Court, took issue with the caution statement while denying that his client was involved. My argument really is that she was coerced by the police to say certain things by use of threat by the police that she would lose her children and that they would be placed in state care, Rowe told the Gleaner. Frame of mind. He also argued in court that his client was not in the right frame of mind when she gave the statement as she was breastfeeding and for about 3 days did not know the whereabouts of her 6-week-old infant. He emphasized that the situation that existed prior to the taking of the caution statement would undoubtedly have affected the voluntariness of the caution statement and weakened the prosecution's case. In the meantime, Jackson was offered bail by Parish Judge Tanel Beecher on the condition that she reports 5 times per week at the Claremont Police Station and surrenders her travel documents. A stop order, enforced at all ports of entry, was also ordered. She was also instructed not to interfere with the witnesses and to avoid the parish unless she was attending court. Jackson, who was previously denied bail twice, is to return to court on September 22. According to a police report, Jackson contracted and conspired with other persons to kill Pink. Allegations are that, on May 23, Jackson rented a gray Toyota Fielder and in the evening drove the car, with others aboard, to the intersection of Campbell Avenue and Thompson Avenue, where she pointed out Pink to her accomplices. She reportedly stopped the car, and one man alighted and shot Pink and King, killing them on the spot. Both were taken to the Port Antonio Hospital, where they were pronounced dead. According to one eyewitness, Pink was shot 3 times in the head. Following the investigation, Jackson was arrested and charged. Attorney at law Cecile Black is also representing Jackson. Man in Bosnia kills ex-wife live on Instagram, murders 2 more before committing suicide. Sarajevo, Bosnia-Herzegovina, AP. A man in Bosnia killed his ex-wife while streaming the slaying live on Instagram and then killed 2 other people while on the run before taking his own life Friday, according to police and media reports. The attack took place in the northeastern Bosnian town of Grdecac, where the assailant also wounded 3 additional people before he committed suicide after being located and before being apprehended, police said in a statement in the regional center of Tuzla. Prosecutors said that after killing his ex-wife, the man went onto the streets of Grdecac with a pistol and shot and killed a man and his son. He also wounded a policeman, another man, and a woman at various locations in the community. "I have no words to describe what happened today in Grdecac," said Nermin Nikšić, the Prime Minister of the Bosnian Federation. The murderer took his own life in the end, but no one can bring back the lives of the victims. Authorities did not immediately offer any more details or possible motives for the shootings. 2 men charged over the Constant Spring Road attack. The St. Andrew Central Police have arrested and charged 2 men in relation to an attack on a man on Constant Spring Road. They are 20-year-old Stephen Halstead, a student of Pandora Crescent in Kingston 11, and 21-year-old Rashawn Minot, unemployed at Bayview Boulevard, Lowell Bay in St. Andrew, who is charged with wounding with intent. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that at about 1:50 a.m. on Wednesday, August 2, Halstead and Minot, armed with knives, attacked and stabbed a man multiple times. An off-duty police officer noticed the altercation and intervened, discharging his licensed firearm in the direction of the men, hitting Halstead in the lower body. The police were alerted and assisted all 3 men to the hospital on their arrival. Halstead and Minot were treated and later released into police custody. Both men were subsequently charged following a question-and-answer session in the presence of their attorney on Wednesday, August 9. Their court date is being finalized. Microphone Cardi B allegedly threw at fan sells for almost $100,000 on eBay. The supposed microphone that U.S. rapper Cardi B threw at a fan during a concert late last month was reportedly sold for $99,000 on eBay Tuesday. According to an article by Forbes magazine, the item drew a considerable amount of interest in an online auction following the highly publicized mic toss. The mic drew more than 120 bids before it was sold. On July 29, while performing at Dry's Beach Club in Las Vegas, a member of the audience threw a drink at the rapper, who responded by hurling her microphone into the audience. The mic reportedly hit a woman who filed a police report. Cardi B was later listed as a suspect in a battery case. A criminal investigation was launched into the incident but was subsequently dropped because of insufficient evidence. Videos of the mic throwing saga went viral on social media,